And so I'm going to walk through this. I do want to right away draw the attention that this is not my beautiful slide creation. This is somebody else's beautiful slide creation, but we're going to talk about it today. So welcome to the Mindfulness broadcast. My name is Tiffany. I'm with Empower Coaching and Training, and I'm really happy to be here with you. Several weeks ago, I taught, maybe even a month ago, I taught a course called Your Brain on Anxiety and How to Rewire It. And in that, I shared this PERMA model from Martin Seligman, who is kind of a founding father and still in practice, but nearing retirement in the world of positive psychology, and just some really amazing work. And he spent most of his career in this work, and kind of this idea of happiness, this pursuit of happiness, and how do we get there as human beings and our ability to thrive. And it's been really neat to see his research change over the decades. And where positive psychology first kind of started its movement was this idea around kind of almost chasing happiness, right? Like creating more happiness by just this pursuit of more things that make us happy. And as the neuroscience research got deeper and more complex, and we understood human brains more thoroughly, I would say, not that we have that complete, but we're further along in the journey. What he and his research teams began to realize is there were actually very neuroscience based measurable components of our feeling of happiness, and how we can create more of that, more of our ability to thrive through these measurable practices. And from that came PERMA. And so what I'm going to do, and I shared this through the lens of building a different relationship with anxiety in that previous workshop. And so what I'm going to do in the next 5 weeks, so I'm going to call this a PERMA series, is go through each one of these. So today we're going to focus on positive emotions, and over the next 5 weeks, we'll roll out into accomplishments, which will begin in, I think it's the second Friday in July, as we will not be here that first Friday in July since it's a holiday for most folks. So let us begin with positive emotion. So positive emotion is a sense of tapping into when we feel good, when we are feeling fulfilled. Often it's when we're really immersed in the present moment. So rather than allowing our brain to do what it naturally does, go to the future and fret about it, or go to the past and reactivate those emotions connected to the past. It's really this ability to be with what is in the moment, and especially cultivating a practice where we are focusing on what is good, which is the opposite of what our brain does naturally. Part of our survival mechanism is to focus on what might be a threat, or what doesn't feel good, or what might not feel safe, or somebody who doesn't feel safe, and kind of reliving and rehashing and practicing for how we're going to deal with those. And so what we're doing purposefully in our practice, a purposeful practice to thrive, is to also purposefully, intentionally cultivate positive emotions. And that is not to say, don't deal with the challenge, don't deal with the threat. It's just that if we leave it to our brain, we will do mostly that. So we want to purposefully build in a practice around positive emotions. So a few ideas to do that you can see here in the slide, sketched out over here by Haley Lewis. Is that we can practice gratitude. We can listen to uplifting music. We can, and again, these don't have to be hour-long practices. Like, we just know that this song, it makes us feel good. So we're going to listen to that, and it takes 2.5 to 3 minutes, right? A practice of gratitude can be a sentence. It can be writing out, saying it verbally, exercising. So again, this does not have to be an hour at the gym. Exercising releases endorphins that help us feel good, things like dopamine and oxytocin and so forth, if we're practicing exercising in a group. So we might walk with a friend. We might just do a brisk walk for 5 minutes on a break before we jump in and do something else, right? So it's easy ways that we can build in these practices and engage in a hobby that makes you happy. Again, it can be this big, but what is our nighttime routine or our lunchtime routine or our weekend routine? And are we purposefully putting in moments of joyful activity, things that make us happy, a quick watering of the garden or noticing as the berries are transitioning from green to purple or whatever it is, right? These hobbies that bring joy. So with that, I'm going to guide us into a practice this morning that's going to focus on noticing some joy, noticing gratitude, bringing in this positive emotion purposefully. Next week, when we come together, we'll focus on engagement over here, which is our ability to kind of be in flow, fully engaged in a moment. The more that we cultivate these practices on purpose, the more that we're present and in the moment, and the more our ability to thrive is something that we can create. So let's do this together. Go ahead and close your eyes, or you can take a soft gaze. Just immerse yourself in gratitude to yourself right now. Thanking yourself just for being here, for showing up, for clicking the link, for giving yourself this practice, for building this quote unquote muscle. Thank yourself for your breath and tuning into it. Thank yourself for this body and your ability to feel it, be in it. Thank yourself for all that you did this week and all that you overcame and all of the lives that you touched. Thank yourself for the failures this week. These moments of humanity, these moments of growth, these moments of shining a light on where we can continue to evolve and change. Thank yourself for the moments you stepped out of habit, stepped out of comfort zone, into vulnerability and courage. Thank yourself for the boundaries that you practiced this week and the places that maybe our boundaries fell a little porous or a little rigid, and the awareness of that. Thank you for the awareness of that, and that we can continue to grow and change. Just feel the gratitude this morning. And as you do that, I want you to find your breath. Uncrossing your legs if they're crossed. Finding your mindful practice posture this morning where your feet are grounded. There's energy, attentiveness coming up through your body. It lifts the chest, perhaps, tucks the chin and lifts the crown of the head, allowing breath to fully move in. Rolling your shoulders back, feeling your shoulder blades on your back, allowing your shoulders to drop, lengthening the space between your earlobes. and your shoulders, and just allowing the breath to move fully. Whatever version of this feels right for you and your body in this moment. And then what I want you to do is pretend you're putting on a pair of gratitude glasses. Pair of gratitude glasses. And then you are metaphorically opening your eyes to look at your morning through the lens of gratitude, through your gratitude glasses. And your whole job is to look for moments to practice gratefulness. And if you have trouble, find challenges as you're moving through this morning, just start with the fact that you awoke. You can focus on things like, I am alive. I have breath. And then we can move up and on from there. I'm going to fall silent for a moment as you do this. And what you might notice is your brain automatically kicks in like, well, it'd be nice to be grateful, except they burned me eggs this morning and stunk up the whole house, and or whatever, right? Our brain, if it isn't practiced, might feel discomfort with just simply being grateful. And your job is just to observe that and then return to the practice. You might even offer yourself a little self-compassion, like, I know this is new. This might feel uncomfortable. And we're going to go back and practice again. So there's no forcing. It's just observing and then returning to the practice. If you find that your gratitude glasses fell off, just notice, give yourself some love and put them back on. And think about other people, pets, sounds, tastes. Small habits, something new, something familiar. And each time you notice that your brain has shifted, pick back up the glasses and put them back on. Remember, these don't need to be lofty or sensational. I'm grateful for the foundation under my house. I'm grateful for the bones that help my body stand up straight. I'm grateful for my sheets. They're my favorite ones, and I was happy to wake up in them this morning. Right? It doesn't have to be complicated. As we close the practice, just observe any states of being for yourself right now. If there's any shift in positive emotion. And this is a practice, a cultivated practice to help us thrive. And we can take the glasses off, set them down, know that they're there for us anytime we want to practice that. And slowly open your eyes, come back together. Thanks for practicing with me this morning. Thanks for being here. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next week.